Before we start, I want to say that only 1% of you are subscribed. Please subscribe because when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I will post a special video for you. Jake stepped off the shuttle, his boots thudding against the metallic surface of the landing pad at the Galactic University. The air buzzed with the chatter of a dozen languages and the hum of alien technology. He hoisted his bag higher on his shoulder, taking in the towering spires and sprawling complexes that made up the campus. "Pretty impressive, huh?" said a voice beside him. Jake turned to see another human, a tall guy with an easy smile, extending his hand. "I'm Marcus." Jake shook his hand, returning the smile. "Jake. Yeah, it's something else. First time away from Earth?" "Second. Actually, I did a semester on Mars last year. But this," Marcus gestured expansively, "is definitely the big leagues." As they walked towards the registration hall, they were joined by a third human, a woman with keen eyes and a sharp grin. "Couldn't help overhearing. I'm Alex. And yes, it's my first time off-world. Figured I'd jump in at the deep end." Together, they entered the bustling hall, finding lines of new students registering for their courses. The diversity was staggering. Beings of all shapes and sizes queued patiently. Some floated, some slithered, and some were just indescribable. "So, what's your major?" Marcus asked as they inched forward in line. "Xenobiology," Alex replied, her eyes lighting up. "And you?" "Interstellar relations," Marcus said. "And Jake?" "Cultural anthropology. I want to understand more about the cultures interacting here," Jake explained, his gaze roaming over a group of insectoid creatures chattering in a clicking language. "That's the spirit," a new voice chimed in from behind. They turned to see a Neptunian, his skin shimmering with a subtle glow. "This place is a melting pot. I'm THZAR. You'll find that understanding is the first step towards thriving here." They chatted about their home worlds and expectations as they completed their registration. After getting their schedules, Jake suggested, "How about we grab something to eat? I saw a place called the Galactic Grub on the way here. Supposed to cater to all dietary requirements." "That sounds perfect," Alex agreed. "I'm dying to try some real alien cuisine." The cafeteria was a dome-shaped building with windows displaying the vast expanse of space. Inside, the aroma was an overwhelming mix of exotic spices and unfamiliar scents. They each grabbed a tray and moved down the line, pointing to foods whose names they couldn't begin to pronounce. As they settled at a table with their selections, Jake tried a violet pudding that wobbled precariously on his spoon. "Here goes nothing," he laughed, taking a bite and immediately grinning. "Wow, that's actually good." Marcus tried a piece of something that looked like neon orange bread, while Alex cautiously sipped a steaming mug of a silvery liquid. Their reactions ranged from delight to surprise, creating a bond of shared experiences. "First day's not even over, and we're already adventurers," Marcus said, his tone playful. "Here's to many more adventures." Alex raised her mug in a toast. Jake raised his glass, feeling the thrill of the unknown. "To new friends and new worlds." They clinked glasses, the sound mingling with the hundreds of other conversations around them, each a thread in the vast tapestry of galactic academia. As they ate, they planned their first weekend trip to the university's renowned Alien Artifacts Museum, eager to dive deeper into the cultures they'd come to study. As the stars shone brightly outside, reflecting off distant ships and the polished surfaces of the university, Jake felt a surge of excitement for what lay ahead. Here, in this hub of knowledge and diversity, he was exactly where he was supposed to be. The next morning, Jake, Marcus, and THZAR walked together to their first cultural exchange class. The corridors of the university were alive with the buzz of students discussing their aspirations and dreams. "This class is supposed to be one of the highlights of the curriculum here," THZAR explained, his voice echoing slightly in the wide hallway. "Each student presents something unique from their culture. It's a real eye-opener." "I'm planning to share an ancient Earth game called chess," Marcus said, adjusting his bag on his shoulder. "What about you guys?" "I brought a traditional Neptunian relic, a slew orb. It's used in meditation and mental exercises," THZAR replied, his hands subconsciously reaching to touch a pendant around his neck. Jake felt a slight anxiety. "I'm still not sure what to bring." I want it to be something that truly represents Earth. They entered the classroom, a large amphitheater that gradually filled with students from across the galaxy. The professor, Dr. Felix, was a tall, slender being from Andromeda with skin that subtly shifted colors depending on her mood, currently a calm shade of blue. "Welcome, everyone," Dr. Felix began, her voice commanding yet warm. "This class is more than just an academic requirement. It's a chance to bridge the gaps between our cultures. Who would like to go first?" A student from Zeta Reticuli stepped forward, presenting a holographic dance that was both haunting and beautiful. The class watched, mesmerized by the fluid movements and ethereal music. As the presentations continued, Jake whispered to Marcus, "These are amazing. I need to think of something really good." "You'll figure it out, Jake. Earth has a lot to offer," Marcus encouraged him. When the class ended, Dr. Felix announced, "Next session, I expect presentations from each of you. Remember, it's about sharing a piece of your world that others might not know." As they left the classroom, Jake was deep in thought, barely noticing the bustling corridor around him. "Hey, you okay?" Tizar nudged him lightly. "Yeah, just thinking about what to present. I want it to be something unexpected," Jake replied, his mind racing. "Why not bring something alive? Like an animal?" Tizar suggested playfully. "Show them a bit of Earth's wild side." Jake stopped in his tracks, his eyes lighting up. "That's actually a brilliant idea." Over lunch in the Galactic Grub, the trio discussed potential candidates. Something not too terrifying, but definitely captivating. Maybe a dingo? Jake pondered, recalling how these wild dogs were both part of and apart from human society on Earth. "Dingoes are perfect," Marcus agreed. "They're unique to Earth, wild, and you can talk about their role in the ecosystem and indigenous culture." With a plan in place, Jake contacted his family to arrange for a safe transport of a dingo to the university. His excitement grew. Not only was he going to share a piece of his home, but it was also something that truly captured the spirit of Earth. The chapter closes as the friends continue planning their presentations, each excited to share a part of their world and eager to see the reactions of their classmates to the variety of cultures the galaxy has to offer. Jake was up early the next morning, his mind buzzing with ideas for his upcoming presentation. He tapped his communicator to video call his sister, Emily, back on Earth. "Hey, Em, I need a big favor." Jake started without preamble as his sister's face appeared on the screen, her background noisy with the sounds of their family farm. "You're looking chirpy. What's up?" Emily asked, her eyebrow raised in amusement. "I need you to send me a dingo." "Yes, a real one. For my cultural exchange class," Jake explained quickly, seeing her surprise. "A dingo? Are you serious? How are you going to manage that?" Emily's voice was incredulous. Jake went through his plan, explaining the university's sophisticated containment facilities designed for extraterrestrial flora and fauna studies. "They have top-notch biosecurity measures here, Em. It'll be safe, and it's important. I want to show them something truly earthly." Emily nodded slowly, understanding the importance of his request. "Okay, I'll talk to the wildlife coordinator here. We'll make it happen, Jake." "Thanks, Em. I knew I could count on you," Jake said, a weight lifting from his shoulders. Later that day, Jake met Marcus and Th at the university's central library to research more about dingoes and how to present them effectively. "You're really bringing a wild animal here?" Marcus asked, half amused and half concerned, as they settled down with their data pads. "It's going to be amazing," Jake said with a grin. "I'll talk about their role in indigenous Australian culture and ecosystems. It'll be a presentation no one will forget." Tizar looked thoughtful. "It's a bold move. It reflects the daring nature of humanity. I'm looking forward to seeing how the others react." They spent hours digging into various sources, gathering information not just on dingoes, but on other presentations as well, strategizing on how to make Jake stand out. "Let's include some interactive content," suggested Marcus, who had experience with holographic technology. "We could simulate a dingo's natural habitat, make it immersive." "That's a great idea," Jake agreed, excited by the prospect. "It'll give them a real sense of Earth's environment." As they discussed, Th offered insights into the cultural sensitivities of different alien species, ensuring that Jake's presentation would be respectful yet engaging. The session was productive, ending with them feeling more prepared and confident. Before parting, they decided to meet up after Jake's presentation to celebrate. "You guys are the best. Thanks for helping me with this," Jake said, feeling grateful for his friends. "No problem," Marcus clapped him on the back. "We're all in this together, right?" "Right?" Cesar echoed, his eyes gleaming with camaraderie. With their plans set and preparations underway, Jake felt a mix of nerves and excitement. He was about to introduce a piece of Earth's wild side to a galactic audience, and the anticipation was thrilling. The chapter closes with Jake reviewing the details of the dingo's arrival, determined to make his presentation both educational and unforgettable. On the day of the presentation, Jake arrived early to the cultural exchange class, his nerves barely contained. The dingo, named Kaya, had arrived safely and was resting in a specially modified environmental habitat behind the lecture hall. Marcus and THZAR joined him, lending their support. "Everything set with Kaya?" Marcus asked as they checked the habitat setup one last time. "Yeah, she's calm. The handlers did a great job acclimating her to the containment area," Jake replied, peering through the transparent partition at the dingo, who looked back with cautious curiosity. "Your setup looks impressive," THZAR noted, observing the holographic displays ready to illustrate the dingo's habitat and role in the ecosystem. As students and faculty filled the amphitheater, Dr. Felix called the class to order. "Today, we continue our journey through the diverse cultures of our galaxy. Mr. Jake, you're first." With a deep breath, Jake stepped forward, activating the holograms. "Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm not just going to tell you about Earth, but also show you one of its unique inhabitants." The room darkened slightly as the holograms came to life, depicting the Australian outback. Sounds of the wind and wildlife filled the room, a vivid backdrop to Jake's introduction. Meet the dingo, a wild canine native to Australia on Earth. Dingoes are a vital part of the natural ecosystem, balancing populations of other species and thus maintaining the health of their habitat, Jake explained, his voice steady despite his nerves. Whispers of amazement rustled through the room as he detailed the dingo's integration into indigenous Australian culture. To indigenous peoples, the dingo is more than an animal. It is a symbol of adaptability and survival, respected and often featured in stories and art. Jake then unveiled Kaya. The curtain to the containment area slowly retracted, and there she was, her gaze alert and poised. A collective gasp rose from the audience, many of whom had never seen such an animal. "As you can see, dingoes resemble some of your familiar canids, but they are uniquely adapted to their environment," Jake continued, leading the audience through a detailed explanation of dingo behavior and ecological impact. The presentation concluded with a Q&A session, where Jake fielded questions ranging from the dingo's diet to its conservation status on Earth. "Mr. Jake, that was truly enlightening," Dr. Felix finally said, her skin glowing a bright shade of green, signaling her pleasure. "You've not only shared knowledge but brought us closer to understanding the delicate balance of life on Earth." As the applause echoed in the hall, Marcus and THZAR patted Jake on the back. "You nailed it, man," Marcus exclaimed. "That was brilliant," THZAR agreed. "You made an impact, no doubt." Flushed with success, Jake thanked them. "Couldn't have done it without you guys. This was teamwork." After the class, students and faculty lingered, discussing what they had learned. The dingo presentation had sparked a broader conversation about conservation and the respect for native species, topics that resonated across planetary cultures. Jake, Marcus, and THZAR left the classroom together, feeling a sense of accomplishment and excitement. The presentation had gone better than Jake had dared hope, and the support of his friends had been invaluable. "That was a masterclass in cultural exchange," Marcus said as they walked back to their dorms. "Indeed," THZAR agreed. "It's presentations like yours that make this class so vital for understanding and appreciation across cultures." Jake felt a surge of pride, not just for his successful presentation, but for the deeper connections it fostered. The chapter closes with the trio making plans to explore more cultural activities on campus, inspired by the day's success. The buzz from Jake's presentation on the dingo reverberated across the Galactic University campus. Kaya became a minor celebrity among the students and faculty, and Jake was often stopped in the corridors with questions about Earth and its diverse ecosystems. Several days later, Jake, Marcus, and Th Zar gathered at their usual spot in the university cafeteria, the Galactic Grub, to discuss the ripple effects of the presentation. Did you see the forum post last night? There's a heated debate going on about the ethics of displaying animals from different worlds, Marcus mentioned as he poked at his meal with a fork. Yeah, I saw that, Jake replied, sipping his drink. It's sparking a lot of discussions. Some are positive, but others are worried about the implications for the animal's well-being. Zar, ever the peacemaker, added, it's a valid concern. But I think your presentation helped many see the importance of conservation and respect for life forms. It's about education, not exploitation. I hope so, Jake said, feeling a mix of pride and responsibility. I made sure Kaya was comfortable and safe. But it's good that it's making people think more critically about these issues. The conversation was interrupted when Dr. Felix approached their table, her color a soothing shade of lavender today. May I join you? She asked, and the trio eagerly invited her to sit. Jake, your presentation has been the talk of the faculty. We're considering a new module on interstellar biodiversity, Dr. Felix revealed, sparking a new wave of excitement among the group. That sounds amazing, Marcus exclaimed. It would give students a deeper understanding of the life forms in our galaxy. Jake nodded in agreement. I'd love to help develop that. It's important for everyone here to understand not just the science but the cultural significance of these creatures. Dr. Felix smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. I'd like you to be part of the curriculum development team, given your unique approach and clear passion. Count me in, Jake said, thrilled at the opportunity. As Dr. Felix left, Tavar turned to Jake. Looks like you're making more of an impact than you expected. Feeling inspired, they spent the next hour brainstorming ideas for the new module, discussing potential field trips to various ecosystems on and off campus, and other interactive elements that could enhance learning. This could be a real changemaker for the university, Marcus said as they wrapped up their meeting. And it's all started with one dingo. Jake felt a sense of accomplishment, but also the weight of responsibility. We need to make sure it's done right. Respectful and informative without crossing ethical lines. With new tasks ahead, the friends decided to meet regularly to flesh out their ideas. As they left the cafeteria, their conversation turned to the upcoming weekend. They planned a visit to the planetarium, hoping to unwind and gather more inspiration from the stars. The chapter closes with the trio walking back to their dorms under the alien sky, filled with determination to make a positive difference in their new academic community, proving that even a single presentation could lead to significant educational and ethical advancements. Under the soft glow of the university's bioluminescent gardens, Jake and Marcus were joined by a new friend, Zorith, an Arcturian whose keen interest in human culture had peaked during Jake's presentation. Earth sounds like a complex planet, Zorith mused, his voice carrying a melodic tone unique to his species. The concept of wild coexistence is fascinating. It's not without its challenges, Jake admitted, leading the group down a winding path lined with exotic plants. But there's beauty in the balance. What's it like on Arcturus? Very structured. Every species has its place, its role. There's harmony, but it's engineered, Zorith explained, his hands describing the meticulous order of his world. Marcus laughed. I guess humans might seem pretty chaotic in comparison. That's what's so intriguing, Zorith exclaimed. There's a certain vibrancy to chaos. Their conversation was interrupted by Lyra, an alien from a species known for their emotional reserve, who approached hesitantly. Jake, can we talk? Sure, Lyra, Jake responded, signaling to Marcus and Zorith that he'd catch up later. Once they were alone, Lyra seemed to struggle with her words, a rarity given her species' usually controlled demeanor. Your presentation made me think a lot about my planet. We don't have anything truly wild left. It's all managed. Seeing Kaya, it was moving. Jake listened intently, noting the vulnerability in her tone. I'm glad it resonated with you. I think every culture can learn from each other. Maybe there's a way to reintroduce some wild into your world safely. Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting a complex mix of emotions. I'd like to learn more about Earth, its ecosystems, and other things. There's a lot to share. How about we start with a simple Earth tradition? Have you ever had coffee? Jake suggested, trying to bridge their worlds with something mundane yet profound in its cultural significance. I haven't. Is it significant? Lyra asked, her curiosity piqued. It's a reason to sit and share stories. A way to connect, Jake explained. They agreed to meet at the campus cafe the next day, where Jake introduced Lyra to coffee and the concept of coffee culture on Earth. They spent hours talking about their planets, finding common ground and differences alike. As their meetings became a regular part of their weeks, Jake found himself looking forward to their conversations. He appreciated Lyra's insights and her subtle humor, previously masked by her species' stoicism. One evening, after a long discussion about Earth art, Lyra hesitated before leaving. Jake, this is unusual for me. I'm finding great enjoyment in our exchanges. It's very human. Jake smiled, touched by her admission. I enjoy them too, Lyra. It's nice to feel connected, isn't it? Yes, very nice, Lyra agreed, a slight color shift in her cheeks suggesting a blush, an extremely rare occurrence for her species. Their friendship deepened, built on shared coffees and exchanged stories. They explored cultural landmarks on campus, attended lectures together, and even tried their hands at creating a small garden, blending Earth and alien plant species as a symbol of their growing bond. The chapter closes as Jake and Lyra sit in their garden, a tangible representation of their friendship, talking under the stars. The evening deepens, and Jake feels a warmth in Lyra's gaze that suggests their relationship might be evolving into something beyond friendship, a possibility that fills him with a hopeful anticipation. The excitement on campus was palpable as students and faculty prepared for the much-anticipated cultural night, an event showcasing the myriad traditions and arts from across the galaxy. Jake, along with Marcus, THR, and now Lyra, volunteered to set up and coordinate part of the event. In the bustling main hall, Jake and Marcus worked together, arranging displays and interactive stations. This hologram will cycle through Earth's major ecosystems, Jake explained, adjusting the settings on a projector. And over here, we'll have traditional Earth music playing. Sounds great, Marcus responded, hanging colorful banners. I think people will love the variety. What are you and Lyra presenting? Jake glanced over at Lyra, who was setting up her own planets section with intricate light sculptures that mimicked her world's auroras. We decided to combine our presentations. We'll start with a discussion about Earth and her planet, focusing on our environmental art, then segue into the importance of biodiversity. Overhearing them as he approached, chimed in, blending cultures and presentations can be really powerful. It shows how interconnected we all are, despite our differences. As the evening began, students and faculty from various species streamed into the hall, their eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. Zorith joined Jake's group, his eyes immediately drawn to the holographic displays. This is fantastic. It feels like walking through a different part of the galaxy. Lyra took the stage first, her voice steady and inviting. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we explore not just the beauty of our individual cultures, but how they can come together. I will start with a glimpse of my home world. The lights dimmed, and Lyra's sculptures lit up, casting beautiful patterns on the walls. Her presentation was mesmerizing, detailing how her people use light and color in their daily lives and spiritual practices. Then Jake joined her, adding, Now, let's shift to Earth. Much like Lyra's world uses light, we use both sound and visuals to connect with our environment. He played a video of various Earth landscapes, from rainforests to deserts, each with native sounds filling the room. The transition was seamless, leading into a discussion about how both their worlds valued and interacted with their environments, though in vastly different ways. After the presentations, the floor was opened for questions, and many hands shot up, eager to learn more. One student asked, How do you see these practices evolving as your planets continue to interact with the rest of the galaxy? Lyra and Jake exchanged a glance before answering. By sharing like this, we hope to not only preserve our traditions but also inspire others to see the value in all our natural worlds, Lyra responded thoughtfully. Jake added, and maybe find new ways to blend our techniques and ideas, creating something even greater than the sum of its parts. As the evening wound down, the group gathered around their displays, talking and laughing with visitors. Marcus nudged Jake, smiling. You two really set a high bar tonight. It was an incredible fusion of ideas. Thanks, man, Jake replied, feeling a mix of relief and satisfaction. It feels like we made a difference, even if it's just sparking a new way of thinking about our worlds. The chapter closes with the friends, old and new, cleaning up after a successful evening, their spirits high from the shared experiences and the warm reception of their efforts. The night deepened their bonds and broadened their perspectives, reinforcing their belief in the power of cultural exchange. The semester was drawing to a close, and the buzz from cultural night still lingered on campus. Jake, Marcus, and THZR sat together in the university's sprawling botanical gardens, reviewing for their final exams and reflecting on their time together. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? Marcus remarked, flipping through his notes. Feels like we just started, and now here we are, almost done. Yeah, this place really grew on us, Jake agreed, looking around at the alien flora that had become so familiar. Learned a lot, not just academically. THZR nodded, his eyes thoughtful. I think we've all changed a bit. For the better, I hope. Their conversation was soon joined by Lyra, who approached with a slight smile. Mind if I join you? She asked Jake. Of course, have a seat, Jake responded, patting the ground next to him. As Lyra settled down, she turned to the group. I've been thinking about how much I've learned from all of you. This experience, sharing our cultures, our ideas, it's been enlightening. Speaking of sharing, Jake started, shifting slightly to face her more directly. I've been working on a proposal with some faculty. We're thinking about setting up an annual intercultural festival based on the success of Cultural Night. Make it a tradition here. That sounds amazing, Lyra responded enthusiastically. Count me in to help. It's important to keep building on what we started. Marcus looked up from his notes, grinning. Leave it to you two to keep making waves. I'm in too. It'll be a great way to stay connected after we graduate. As they discussed their plans, the conversation shifted towards their personal growth and the relationships they'd forged. Each shared their post-graduation plans. Marcus was going into diplomacy, THZR was considering a PhD, and Lyra was planning to return to her planet to advocate for more unstructured environmental areas, inspired by her discussions with Jake. And you, Jake? What's next on the horizon? THZR asked. Jake took a deep breath, his gaze settling on the setting sun. I think I'll take some time to travel, see more of the galaxy, maybe spend some time on Lyra's planet. There's a lot out there to learn, and I want to experience it firsthand. The group nodded in understanding, each feeling the pull of their future paths. As the evening wore on, they talked about everything from the mundane details of their daily lives to the profound lessons they'd learned about diversity and understanding. It was a bittersweet gathering, full of laughter and reflective silences. Finally, as the first stars of the night appeared, Marcus stood, stretching. Well, I guess we better get back. Those exams won't take themselves. They all rose, gathering their belongings. Before they parted ways, Jake pulled Lyra aside. Hey, about that trip? Lyra smiled, her hand reaching out to gently squeeze his. I was hoping you'd bring it up. Let's definitely plan it. There's a lot I want to show you. With a nod, Jake felt a rush of anticipation for the future. Looking forward to it. The chapter closes with the friends walking back to their dormitories under the alien sky, a firm reminder of the vast and varied universe waiting to be explored. Their steps were light with the knowledge that the bonds they'd formed would endure, bridging worlds and cultures in ways they had only begun to imagine.